morning and good evening, everyone. My name is Fabien Maille. I am the Managing Director of Timeo-Performance. Happy to welcome you today. We have been training executives on coaching as part of our leadership programs for over 15 years. Let me introduce you to the rest of the team that you cannot see yet completely. Alex is a partner at Timeo-Performance and is also a professional corporate trainer and executive coach. And of course, Jean-François with us, who has over 12,000 hours of coaching experience with leaders from all over the world. Of course, these past months, the discussions we have been having with leaders during our meeting, training or coaching session have been quite special. I mean, a lot of people express feelings of fatigue and a real battle to win and conquer, coming from both the management teams and from the teams themselves. 2021 is just starting and plenty of opportunities are ahead. We will see that in a minute. And we decided with Jean-François and Alex that it could be interesting and valuable to revisit the mindset and the collective energy we are going to need to transform these opportunities in the months to come. So, are you and your teams ready to conquer after several months already in the battlefield? What can we do to get them ready practically? Please, as an introduction, know also that we will share with you the presentation slides tomorrow after the webinar, so you can revisit and reflect on what we are going to cover at your convenience. Jean-François, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Fabien, and very warm greetings to you all, captains of big ships who've just sailed through the stormy seas of 2020. Welcome on board, and thank you for investing your precious time today with us to explore how you can enhance your leadership team's ability to conquer new blue oceans in 2021. Now, let's sail away with a bit of a good news, and that will be courtesy of McKinsey, who just a couple of weeks ago, have posted their latest quarterly economic outlook, and things look better, as in the confidence of growing majority of leaders is quite strong about the improvement ahead for all of us with the economy. Now, at the same time, we want to stay vigilant as we steer our boats in 2021, because of course there'll be headwinds and countercurrents and perhaps rocks just underneath the surface of the sea, right? That can all disrupt our trajectory. And well, Boston Consulting Group, not to be undone, has flagged 4 potential disruptions we want to watch out for, notably weakening customer demand, changing customer needs or expectations, or both, and increasing competitive intensity, right? And the potential disruption of business models in the industry. Now, with all of that in mind, of course, one of the most important things we can do, and we have to do, is enhance the resilience of our crew and of our boat. And I was fascinated when I looked a few weeks ago at a survey that McKinsey did of companies that had, back in 2008, in the first few moments of the severe financial crisis, had taken strong action to enhance their resilience. Now, their performance since, over the 10 years to 2017, is reflected in the top line here, top dark blue line, and it's in terms of shareholders' returns. And as you can see, those resilient companies did continuously and significantly better than not only the non-resilient companies, but as well better than the S&P 500 indexed, in fact. Now, with all of this in mind, let's, and this extra information from BCG as well about how corporate vitality, which is another kind of word for resilience, right, will fuel your conquest. Well, they just studied again at the beginning of this COVID crisis, right, back in March last year, how vital companies, resilient companies performed as compared to the others. And so not only were they quicker back on their feet, but the extent of their recovery was significantly higher. In fact, when we compare them with the MSCI World Index. So with all of that in mind, we'd love to focus on you. And take care of you and your business future today. And I'd love to ask you a question, which is, which season is your business in? Is it spring, like we are gaining momentum with new growth drivers, perhaps? Or is it summer, like we are thriving? Thanks for asking, Jean-François. Or is it perhaps like autumn, right? We're losing momentum and we don't have yet new growth drivers. Or is it winter because we kind of stuck in status quo? Now, take a moment to reflect which season is your business in, and then we are going to play together to kind of figure out where you starting this where you starting the journey towards the next steps. In other words, where you starting 2021's battle from. And for this, I'd love to invite you to play along by either scanning this QR code on the screen or clicking on the link that Alia has just uploaded in the Q&A box. And then you'll get on that screen. Yeah. So QR code or just clicking the link in the chat box. And I will invite you to consider locating yourself along 7 dimensions. So here they are. And you have that scale from absolutely not to yes, absolutely on each of the 7 dimensions. And you can basically rate from 1 to 10. So the first dimension is, are we clear about the evolution of our business environment? The second one is, are we willing to be disruptive in the market? Third dimension is, are we ready to boldly invest for growth? Fourth dimension is, our strategy integrates post-crisis opportunities. Our people's energy is a very positive go-getter type, right? Sixth dimension is our cross-functional collaboration is at its best. And seventh dimension, we have higher speed and agility than competitors. So I'll give you a few more seconds, right, to cast your vote, and then we'll have a look at the picture that's coming up for us as a group of senior leaders, yeah? And then, of course, what lessons we may take from that picture, yeah? Okay, a few more answers coming up. Thanks very much for playing along. Okay. One of the interesting features of this tool, right, is we can see the spread as well as the average here, right? Okay, and interestingly, and big congrats to everyone. It seems like collectively your strategy integrates post-crisis opportunities. Well done. You've got a compass set up, right, to move forward. Now, in contrast, the readiness to boldly invest for growth varies, right? Which raises question about the ability to deploy the strategy if it requires capital. You're pretty clear about the evolution of the business environment. However, I guess given the score, you want to continue scanning for its evolution, right? And then in terms of people's energy, we've got quite a continuum here. Some see the energy as relatively low, some quite fired up. Collaboration is our lowest score here along the full spread of the survey scale. And agility also, perhaps not as great as we wish it to be. And there again, there are highly agile people amongst us and some or highly agile leadership teams, right, rather, and some who want to improve in that dimension. So thanks very much for playing the game. We're going to focus in a few minutes today on practical things you can do to take the people's energy to the next level, collaboration as well, and agility just as well. Before we do that, I'd love to invite you to answer another question, still in the same app, right? So you can just you can just stay there, and there the question I ask you is, what needs to happen in 2021 at a deep level within your company's culture to nurture a mindset of conqueror across your co-workers, across your workforce? What needs to happen this year at a deep level within your company culture? And culture simply means how we are and how we do things, right? To nurture a mindset of conquerors. Let's see what's coming up here. Take your time. It's a big, deep question, right? And probably an important one as well. Collaboration, adaptative agility, agile and resilience. Yeah, priorities, prioritize. Yep. Certainty, co-build. Great word. Yeah. Teamwork. Energy. Okay. Wow, more and more. The picture is getting richer and richer. Thanks very much for playing. Boldness. Love that too. Daring. Innovation. Fighting spirit. Risk-taking. Adaptative. Trust. Upskilling. Absolutely. Yeah. Willingness. Flexible mindset. Agility and resistance. Yeah, so we hear a lot about energy, drive, right? Boldness. And we hear also about agility, adaptive behaviors, right? And we hear a lot about teamwork, collaboration, risk-taking, daring, and teamwork. Thanks very much for playing the game, and there will be more coming in the next minutes. Acting as an owner is another pearl of wisdom and of great value and importance. Thanks very much again for playing the game. Now, I'd love to actually give you a picture of something we can draw inspiration from as we move forward. And that picture is about those 50 most vital or resilient companies that really performed well over the past 3 years. They outperformed the S&P 500 index again 3.5 times, which is quite amazing. And the insight I want to share with you is about where they are. And this is a world map of those 50 most vital companies, right? Where are the two big bulks of them? Well, easy, yeah? The US and China. And that's not a surprise, is it? I do admire how American companies have really developed a great ability at producing collective intelligence. right? And partly, to a big part actually, yeah, by embedding early on a coaching culture in their company, right? That really brings out the best thinking from people individually and collectively. And what I am very impressed about with Chinese companies, and there's a great article from McKinsey here you can read later on about how they are emerging stronger and fitter and faster, is the audacity, the ambition and the agility, or in a street smart way, in fact. And I guess we want to keep those good examples in mind, right? And mind the best from those two models, which are proving successful in very tough time. And just perhaps to give you a very concrete idea about the difference in ambition level between Europe and China, right? Few months ago, I was talking with a banker in France, and he was priding himself with the fact that within 2 weeks, the bank had been able to enable 80 critical managers to work from home. For the previous 3 years, they couldn't do that, right? And recently, Miss Tan from Ping An Group in China prided herself in, within 5 working days, 5 consecutive working days, enabling 1.5 million employees of the Ping An Group to work from home. So totally different level of ambition we have here, right? And we certainly want to think how ambitious is ambitious enough going forward in our competitive landscape, right? Now, with this, I'd love to work out with you how you are going with your LT to conquer, right? And with this, I'd love to share a few thoughts, in fact, about what needs to happen from my experience, in fact. When we want to conquer, right? You said it in essence in our word cloud a little while ago, right? We need more energy, obviously. We need more collective intelligence, because nobody is smart enough to go and conquer, to find the right path to conquest alone, right? The world is too complicated and fast changing for any single brain to figure out alone the best way forward. We need collective intelligence. And then we need agility, right? Because it's not good enough to be smarter than competition, right? You've got to be faster as well to enhance your chance to outsmart them, right? On the battlefield, and then take a bigger prize, right? So here, we know we've got to work on these 3 things: energy, collective intelligence, and agility. And the difficulty is those 3 things are intangible, right? Energy surges from within people when their motivation drivers are activated. Collective intelligence grows along conversation when we help each other think at our best, right? And then when we think of agility, right? Well, it's a state of being, basically, right? It's like being street smart, right? We can learn how to do that when we are out of our comfort zone. Yeah? Now, one thing energy, agility, and collective intelligence have in common is that they soar in coaching style conversations. I can see that every day. Of course, that's my job, right? But more interestingly, more importantly, it certainly because those most admired and disruptive companies, tech companies in the Silicon Valley, have embedded a coaching culture so many years ago that they are thriving in disrupted environments again and again and again and again, right? And so I think here we have, as senior leaders, a fantastic tactical advantage because we have the power to step by step deploy a coaching mindset that unleashes more energy, more collective intelligence, and greater intellectual agility in our company. It's up to us. And that's why I thought I loved, perhaps the best I could do on our topic today would be to give you some very practical things to experiment with, right? To do that, right? To enhance people's energy from inside, enhance the production of collective intelligence they have when they converse with each other, right? And enhance their intellectual agility, right? So I'm going to not only give you some concrete things you can implement right away, I'm also going to invite you to share what comes to your mind in terms of good practices when you think of enhancing the energy of your crew, the collective intelligence of your crew on the boat, right? And the agility of your crew. Right now, let me start to fix things in perhaps our memories with an acronym, which is what I believe leaders have to become. And you may like it or you may resent it. Let's see. Yeah, it's on the slide after this one, and it's coming here. It's coming here, and it's all about having senior leaders produce with their teams more energy in the system for greater boldness and resilience, more collective intelligence again, right, for disruption and agility, for outpacing competitors. And when we've got E, C, I, and A, there's this acronym irresistible, which is basically, in essence, leaders have to become ECI agent, right? Keep that in mind, and perhaps it will help you stay focused on those three important things that you and your leadership team can really produce more of. Now, let's take these three important things for conquest one by one. The first one is energy, and it's about, of course, coaching for energy and boldness and resilience, right? Now, something I want to share with you is what triggers energy in our minds and then our bodies, in fact, right? And neuroscience has done a lot of great research on that, and they've identified 5 things that enhance our energy. It all starts in the brain and deploys in the body. The first one is when we gain status or a sense of self-worth, right? Self-esteem, yeah? Then our brain is all excited and produces energy. Second one is when we move from an uncertain to a more certain situation. Then again, our brain is energized. Third is when we gain more autonomy. Yep, more freedom, or when we fight for more freedom, yeah, or autonomy. Fourth is when we get a stronger sense of belonging, of being part of a team or a family, right? And fifth is when we feel that the situation becomes fairer, healthier, like more transparent, more open, more inclusive, in fact, right? These 5 things are drivers of energy. And there is a 6th one I want to add, which is when we have a sense of purpose and we work to make it happen. And perhaps you've seen in the business literature over the last 6 months, so many leaders and consultants producing pieces of research on the importance of having our staff clear on what the purpose, in other words, why we are doing what we are doing in this crisis. And part of this is, of course, for everybody to be aligned and go into the same exciting direction. And the other part is to really energize our people. Now, what can we do very practically, starting later today or tomorrow, right, with our leadership teams? As we coach them for energy, boldness, and resilience, you could play with their level of status or self-esteem, right? By asking them this question, for instance, hey, guys, how are we becoming better leaders in this crisis? Yep. And as they figure out, of course, they gain a sense that, wow, their value as a professional is improving. That's good for the future, yeah? Second question, again, to enhance their sense of self-worth, right? What are we learning that can help us again and again here, right, as we are solving this problem, for instance, right? And here, not only we enhance people's status, but also we enhance a certainty, sense of certainty that we better get to navigate the future, right? Now, another thing we can ask usefully is, where do we need further clarity? Where do we need further alignment, right? And there again, we have enhanced the level of certainty about what happens next, right? To some degree, right? And that is energizing. Another similar purposed question, right, is what don't we know yet and need to learn? And that, of course, as we answer it, is going to enhance certainty and also enhance people's sense of self-worth individually and as a team. Now, something more to trigger energy is, hey guys, how can we be more ambitious here? How can we be just bolder, right? That will also unleash energy in the team, right? And then, of course, all of these questions, your leaders can the next day cascade down to their own teams, and the ripple effect across the organization can be very powerful over time. Another, I think, powerful question that enhances energy, boldness, and resilience is, how does it feel to be led by us at the moment, right? And with this, we try to ensure that our workplace is healthy, and there is kind of a sense of fairness and relatedness across the organization, and that's good for energy production. Also important to make sure we care well about our people is simply at times ask ourselves, what are our staff current pain points? And there should be a lot. This is a tough time, right? And then, of course, what are we going to do about them? Yep, and then we move to a better situation for the company and the organizational health. Yeah, and then I've added two questions that I recommend you try out. Right, as and the one is, what are our guts telling us that we need to do now, for instance, right? And why? Because guts really, our guts is where our sense of purpose resides, right? And they inform us a lot, in addition to our brain and our heart, right, about what we can do next. And there's a lot of energy associated to it, right? So it's a brilliant question to ask. And the last question that's also helping people enhance their sense of purpose and unleash more energy to get it is, why are we doing what we are doing, right? Isn't it good at times to just pause and confront the question? Why are we doing what we are doing? What's the purpose, in other words? Or what's the difference to the world around us that we want to make with what we're doing, right? And answering that and gaining that extra knowledge and clarity will help a lot enhance the energy across the system that you're leading, right? Now, with this, I'd love to also share with you a few practical things you can do to boost the production of collective intelligence in your organization. And I invite your input as well, your experience sharing. Please feel most welcome to write in the Q&A in the Q&A box any experience you wish to offer to our team today, right? With this, I'd love to say one thing that is really helpful when we want to have a lot of collective intelligence in a meeting is to start on the right foot. And that means define what the problem really is that we are trying to solve. It seems a very simple question. It's often actually not, because people may have different ideas about the problem we're trying to solve. And if they have different ideas, then we're going to waste time for quite a bit, because they're going to try to resolve the problem they think we are solving, and others will just not understand what they're doing, what they're contributing, right? So what really is the problem we're trying to solve? And then second, perhaps to gain more insight that can be helpful in intelligently resolving the problem. Let's define that problem we've agreed we're trying to solve, right, from different perspectives, perhaps the client's perspective, the other stakeholders' perspective, our competitors' perspective, the market regulators' perspective, who knows, yeah? And then when we do that, something that really works well, I've seen in companies that practice that good practice, right, is first ask your team members to sit down and give them X minutes, like 2, 3, 5 minutes, to think alone about what could be a potential solution to that problem we've defined, we're trying to solve, and we've looked at from different perspectives. So then they come individually with a potential solution, yeah, and then that's really precious because we avoid a groupthink effect on their thinking, which would happen if we would go sequentially. Okay, John, what's your what do you think we should be doing here? So John speaks, and then we invite Laura to speak. But then, of course, Laura's brain has been a bit influenced by what John said. And then comes a turn for Maria perhaps to speak. And then Maria has heard John and Laura, and her brain is impregnated with some of what they said. And we're losing candor here. So that's quite powerful and effective in producing higher quality collective intelligence. Now, we also want to disrupt our thinking. And so it's simple and helpful to ask, hey guys, how can we disrupt the game? Or how can we disrupt our game further to gain sustainable growth or conquer a new market, or whatever it is we're doing as part of our conquest of new blue oceans, right? Helpful as well will be to ask, hey guys, what are we not seeing here? What are we blind about? What don't we know yet? Of course, and that triggers more thinking from the brains in the room, right? And of course we can ask, right? Okay, let's be bolder here. It's the name of the game, right? Let's think more boldly. A question that a number of clients love asking, and I love asking it as well when I coach teams, right? Is like, what question should we really ask ourselves? You remember perhaps Albert Einstein said, right? If I had a complex problem to solve and 60 minutes to solve that problem, I would probably spend the first 55 minutes thinking of the question I should ask myself, and then the last 5 minutes would be dedicated to answering the question and solving the problem at the same time, right? So there's a lot of power in asking that. Yeah, a couple more things. When the thinking becomes too divergent, right? It can be healthy to step back and say, hey, guys, perhaps we spread a bit thin here, right? Or we're going in all directions. Nothing wrong about that. But let's check, what are we agreeing about at a deeper level, right? And that's a healthy discipline as we produce collective intelligence. And then 2 more things. One is actually this one. What's our value proposition, right? In one sentence, He is in a way inspired by Einstein as well, who said when he sent a long letter to a lady, I apologize for writing you a long letter. I did not have time to write a short one. Of course, attaining concision is tough. It needs clarity. And so when we ask what's our value proposition or our strategy or whatever, in one sentence, we're asking brains around the room to do a tremendously difficult and important and valuable exercise, which is attain simplicity. Yeah. And then finally, I'd love to propose, I'd love to move on to agility. And again, I'm inviting you to contribute your own tips and techniques so we can all benefit from them. Yeah. Just one more on collective intelligence. How can we better help each other play at our individual best next time, right? And that is something that coaching cultures make tremendously easier, in fact, right? Because coaching, in essence, is about helping someone else think at their best, right? Individually or collectively. And it's really important that leaders across organizations, right, feel their responsibility is not just to bring out their best. Perhaps that was okay in the 20th century, totally not anymore, right? Now, they've got for sure to bring out their best, but they've got also to help others bring out their best, and even better, help their team or the teams they work with across function to bring out their best, right? And so asking the question at the end of a meeting, hey guys, how can we better help each other play at our best individually, right? Next time will yield great insights about basically how we can reach a higher performance as a team. Yeah. Now, long overdue, agility, and then about agility and speed. I really want to invite you to use quantitative brainstorming. That's where we ask our team members, right, to produce quantity of thinking versus quality of thinking first, right? So we say, hey guys, 5 minutes, 5 ideas, quick. And then we produce 5 ideas quite easily, actually, because we've let go of the obsession of delivering quality thinking, right? So then in 5 minutes, we've got 5 ideas of probably average quality, but we've got quantity, and then we can build on that and then actually find 1 or 2 superb ideas much faster than we would have if we would have gone for qualitative brainstorming, which would be, hey guys, let's find the killer idea that's going to really boost our conquest of this new market much ahead. Yeah. I'd say obsess about speed, right? And I know many of the leaders I work with have come to ask this question, hey, what's the fastest way we can do this? Or how can we do that faster, right? And again and again and again, right? Not in a stressful manner, right? In a kind of a playful manner, right? And then something important here, it's being smart in the planning of what we do, right? In a very agile manner. In fact, looking at what we can do, what tasks we can progress on in parallel. And on this, I want to tell you a bit of a story, and it's about the National Health Service in the UK. You know, that's played a critical role in the vaccination launch in the UK, right? It's a huge organization. They have over 1,200,000 workers, and then they are really in the top 3 services, health services worldwide in terms of effectiveness in rolling out the vaccine in the UK. And just last week, in this article from the Financial Times yesterday, right? Just last week in the UK, they vaccinated 1,800,000 people. That's not bad, right? They were the first one to approve the vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, and one more. Yeah. Now, I have a good friend who is a consultant, right, and has intimate knowledge of NHS. And when he saw how well they were performing in terms of their work on the vaccination, right, he had his doubtful hat on, and he thought, wow, these guys must be cutting corners. It's not possible that they would go so fast without sacrificing some quality. So as a consultant, he kind of, just for his own interest, dived in how they were working. And what he found is very much unlike most other national health services in other countries, the NHS in the UK had let go of sequential planning of vaccines approval and rollout preparation to embrace instead parallel work, right? So they, from the get-go, had thought about how can we do this the fastest by working on some stuff in parallel, and also keeping the eventual decision makers informed all along the way about where we are. So when it's their time to eventually make a decision, well, they can make it right away because they are super well informed about where we are with and what we've done, right? And so that's why I wanted to insist on the power of this as we want to conquer more business or better business this year. And we've got to be faster. Each time we can optimize the work we do collectively and advance in parallel on some things and keeping ultimate decision makers really apprised and well, then we do a good job. A couple of more things about agility and speed, right? In leadership teams, it's like ask ourselves sometimes, hey, what are we overthinking, right? Because overthinking is kind of analysis paralysis, right? We don't have time for that. What can we disregard in our decision making, right? What parameters can we neglect? Yeah. What can we just stop doing, or what can we do just less well, right? How can we take more risk, yet still be safe enough? Yep. And what can we experiment with already? Quite a bit in line with working in parallel, right? And totally in line with agile work, as you would know, right? And also two concrete things, right? A pointer, rabbit hole master. What's that? Well, the rabbit hole master is the guy who avoids that the team goes down the rabbit holes, right? He's the guy in the meeting, a part of the team who's an extra role, which is to say, hey guys, we're getting into the weeds here. We're going down a rabbit hole, aren't we? All right, let's stay back, right? Let's come back to the discussion, right? And of course, a point. It's so basic but necessary. A timekeeper for kind of time boxing, right? Now, I do hope those very practical things that some of my clients are doing and they enjoy it can resonate and with you, and you can apply them as well. And I'm eager in the discussion we'll have in a few minutes to learn more about what is it you do that really helps your leadership team develop a mindset and abilities of conquerors, right? Now, I want to wrap up before I leave the floor to Fabien with this very interesting information from McKinsey. You see, on the right side of the screen, they've got this list of skills. They went around at the end of last year and they asked hundreds and probably thousands of companies, hey, which of these skills have you used more and which of those skills have you used less after the pandemic began, right? And here's what they said. The companies surveyed, many of them, right, said, right? In the green quadrant at the top, we've used that more. In the red quadrant at the bottom, we've used that less, right? And as you can see, they've had their leaders being more supportive and caring, more employee focus, more entrepreneurial, more empowering, embracing greater speed in decision making, being more comfortable with ambiguity, and taking a more holistic view of the issues they were working with, in fact, right? So that's kind of an external validation of what we've been discussing. In other words, leadership is being re-engineered in 2020 and 2021, right? It's a major opportunity, and the good thing is it's for all of us, up for all of us senior leaders, right, to make it a new asset for our companies. I touched a couple of times on the power of coaching, and I want to say that embedding coaching in your company's leadership DNA will yield the potent benefits of a coaching culture, right? And just for those of you who are the most interested about numbers, right? Here are a few, right? In this survey from the Human Capital Institute, they've compared companies with strong coaching culture and other companies, and they could establish that the delta in terms of customer satisfaction was pretty steep, right? At 18% less customer satisfaction in companies without a coaching culture. Employers of choice, 28% difference, right? And that's critically bad or good, which side you are in, right? Because there is scarcity of talent, as we know. Profitability, 9% delta. Yeah, that's a big thing, 9% difference in profitability levels, huge thing. And large scale strategic chain, 12% delta. Now, I'm going to conclude with saying this crisis can be the very best thing that happens to us if we reinvent ourselves as a more intelligent and bolder, agile, more agile, more resilient enterprise. And to a large part, it's up to how we lead. And you can do it. And of course, we're happy to help if we have a chance. With this, I'd love to hand it over to Fabien. Thanks for staying with me for a bit longer than I wanted. to Fabien.
Thank you, Jean-François. Indeed, Well, actually, how we can help, how we help together. In fact, in a way, we became, if I may say, ECIA agent producers through the coaching masterclass that we created together, Unleash the Great Coach Within You. In fact, the development of coaching skills accelerates the leader ability to become an ECIA agent. The answer we give is to the question, how can leaders adopt the coaching posture with the right mindset and the right coaching skills? Or how to develop a coaching culture in your organization with ECIA agent that will be a bit everywhere all around you and that coach each other as well. Alex will tell us a bit more.
Yeah, so let's see what leaders and managers said about their experiences with our coaching masterclass. So as an executive coach for the past 13 years in Europe and Asia, I'm quite used to pleasant surprises in the results that coaching and coaching skills can bring. So here are some comments from some of the leaders who attended the 4 masterclass editions we ran throughout last year. The first one that I picked out came from Lionel, who's a CEO in Asia Pacific, and he said, I have especially been very pleased to see how relevant the masterclass was for managers like me, helping to leverage coaching as a new and powerful way to manage my teams on a daily basis. So this shows how coaching skills can be applied to support your day-to-day management practices. The second one I picked out was from Jody, who's a vice president, again in Asia Pacific. And she said, I'm more calm and centered when going into conversations with my team. So again, learning and practicing coaching skills can change your own behavior and the state of mind for better leadership. And the third one I picked out was from Larissa, who's a director in Europe. And Larissa said it's a perfect rhythm over the 7 weeks, just stretching enough, but not too much when you're busy elsewhere. I'm truly transformed at the end of this learning journey. This shows how it's possible to fit your personal development and your transformation into your day-to-day schedule.
So here are some of the companies who trusted us for this noble task of creating managers with coach posture, mindset, and skills, ECIA agents. During the first 4 editions of the masterclass, we welcome participants from 19 different countries across 5 continents, CEOs, HR, managers considered as high potential by their organization. After the program, some told us they wanted the masterclass for their own team to foster a coaching culture and coaching behaviors among the team. So we are actually about to roll this year the masterclass exclusively for some of these organizations. We gave it a name. We call it the Corporate Masterclass. In the Corporate Masterclass, actually people from the same organization or the same team will be together in a dedicated class. Obviously, in that kind of format, there are elements that can be tailored or customized to the needs of the team and the organization. Alex will tell us a bit more.
Yeah, so how does the masterclass actually work? Well, firstly, it took 10 months of dedication and development for the masterclass to become a reality. So the Unleash the Great Coach Within You is a real class, where you communicate and learn with other managers and leaders, and also with business professionals who have a people focus like yourselves. The masterclass spans over 7 weeks with new content gradually added on a weekly basis. So you can learn at your own pace, and it's 100% digital, so you can learn from anywhere. Completing the masterclass also awards a certificate, which grants you accredited coaching units from the International Coach Federation. Your 2 main takeaways from attending this masterclass are, firstly, you gain everything you need to know how to develop coaching behavior, a coaching mindset, and practicing coaching skills, all with the support of Jean-Francois, myself, Fabienne, and your fellow classmates. Secondly, as we've seen in the testimonial comments previously, this leads to practical results such as enhancing your overall leadership presence and communication skills, increasing your influence and convincing power in your interactions, whether that's with your employees, your colleagues, your bosses, and even with your clients. And of course, it enables you to conduct coaching sessions in the right way to support and develop your team. So with just 1.5 hours of time investment per weekly module, You can now fit your learning and self-development into your regular schedules. Plus, if you wish, there are over 3 hours of additional resources and content to go deeper into your learning during the masterclass and take into the future. You'll also have the opportunity to practice your skills in 3 live online classroom sessions during the 7-week masterclass. They're hosted live by Jean-Francois, Fabienne, Alia, and myself. And these are dedicated moments for you and your classmates to practice your coaching skills, ask questions to Jean-Francois directly and live in an intimate kind of classroom session. And the coaching content is exclusively developed by Jean-Francois, and it's gleaning from all of his 12,000 hours of coaching experience to contribute to the learning journey. But it's through engaging and interactive learning methods, such as gamified points aligned to your progress, coaching demonstrations by Jean-Francois, videos, quizzes, and downloadable coaching templates. So you have a full toolkit to conduct your own coaching sessions in the right way, to support your teams, and importantly, to practice your coaching skills straight away, as practice is so important for instilling these coaching behaviors in your day-to-day.
A quick reminder regarding our edition 5. The registration of the 5th edition of the masterclass Unleash the Great Coach Within You are still open. The masterclass starts on February the 23rd, which is coming pretty soon. So why did we choose the end of February? In fact, companies, as you know, a lot of them are currently in January, early February, running their annual performance review and are identifying development opportunities for managers. So managers can develop their coaching skills and mindset straight away by registering to the masterclass and become ECI agent within no time. Can get more information, obviously, on our website. Alia is going to share the link right now on the Q&A chat box. And there will be also a link to a leaflet that you can download to get more details. Obviously, if you want more information, Alex and I will be very pleased to exchange with you directly. For this, simply put the word yes in the Q&A box, and then we will contact you and give you more information in the coming days. All right, now time for some experience sharing and Q&A. What questions do you have for Jean-Francois about what we shared today, what he shared today? Please feel free to take your time to ask the questions. Alia will read them through to us. We still have 8 minutes to go. So let's go ahead. Alia, any question?
Yes, we have a questions coming in. So here's a question for you, Jean-Francois, from the Q&A. How do you start developing a coaching culture?
Thanks very much. So first, that's something you start from the top, from you, from your level, right? From the most senior leaders. Second, because how you are going to role model the coaching culture, right? The coaching posture of a leader is going to have huge ripple effect across the organization, right? So it starts from the top, and also it's important that there is and you work for people to gain clarity about why we do that. It's not just trendy, it is, but that's not important. It's we do that because it's one, good for business and necessary nowadays. Two, it's good for people because it brings out their best and it really takes their performance and their capabilities to the next level. And three, it's good for the organization because it makes it super healthy, agile, collectively intelligent, and that is again very necessary, right? So that's really important to make very clear from the get-go. And then as soon as the leadership team at the top has mastered enough, right, the coaching posture of great leaders, right, then they can roll it to the next level down and again and again and again, right? And once a couple of hierarchy levels have embedded the coaching culture, I would say, then it's time to start to grow internal coaches, right? And then there are more things, but our time is limited. Thanks very much for the question now.
Thank you, Jean-François. We have another question for you, actually. What are obstacles to developing a coaching culture?
Okay. So, well, I said to develop it, you start from the top, right? And often the biggest obstacle is that some of the leaders at the top do not want to play the game, right? Either they really old school, they believe that directive leadership has been the way to play the game for hundreds of years, perhaps millennia, right? So what's this nonsense about matrix organization and all that stuff? Not buying that, right? So either they genuinely think that, and then we really need to work out with them to update their understanding of the imperatives of business, right? And the other thing is they may resist just for selfish purpose, self-preservation, right? They may figure out that, or imagine rather, that in that new, more complex game of cross-functional collaboration, agility, and all that, if they do not have full control on their little territory, or if their title is not as imposing as before, and that's coming with the coaching culture, then that's not going to be a good thing. They're not going to support it, in fact. So that would be one point, right? Resistance from some of the senior leaders. And if they resist in their little pocket of direct influence, then we do have a problem, in fact, right? Because part of the organization is kind of not playing along, and of course it's a loss for the business, right? But all of that is manageable. Second idea, an obstacle is when leaders or managers think, Jesus, coaching takes time. To have a good coaching conversation takes time, and time is currency we don't have much of. And they are right. One, it takes time, and two, we don't have much time, right? So the thing is, it's wise and effective to limit at first the time you invest in coaching conversation, right? For example, you say, once per month, I'm going to spend 30 minutes of a pure coaching conversation with each of my subordinates, and that's all I do. Nothing more, nothing less. I will not dare to be a coach right away on at all times, in fact, right? Because that wouldn't work. That's taking a bit of time, and then you would find, oh my, I don't have time anymore. So let's go into giving advice, giving directions, right? Telling people what to do, right? Or mentoring them, which is all fine, except we don't want to pollute coaching with mentoring or giving advice. We want to keep it pure, because that is when it's really, really powerful, right? So the way to overcome the second impact of coaching takes time, we don't have time, is be reasonably modest in your scheduling of coaching conversation with your people. Make it perhaps 30 minutes a month, one-on-one. And then as you get into the groove of coaching, right, and you see, oh, wow, that is powerful. It's really helping my people accelerate their growth, take ownership, be more agile in their thinking. It has them also behave better in meetings and then be proponents of the emergence of collective intelligence. And as you get fluent into this, then you can start to be the manager coach, right, at all times, in fact. So step by step, I'd say. Yeah?
Thank you, Jean-François. We have another question regarding the masterclass. So this one is for Fabien. When does your next coaching masterclass edition start, and how much does it cost?
That's an easy and simple answer. It starts on the 23rd of February, and it costs 1,488 USD. That's the normal price. We have an early bird price at the moment for the coming week. So I think 8 more days at 988 USD. All the information is on the website. Quite easy to access. Thank you for the question, by the way.
Thank you. And we have another one for Jean-François. Any advice on how we can deliver solid brainstorming virtually?
Yeah, thanks very much for asking. It's so timely and helpful, right? And actually, I would love to perhaps rephrase some of what I said before about generating collective intelligence. In fact, right? And having people, for example, give people a couple of minutes. Hey guys, you in China, you in Australia, you in London, you in Marrakesh, right? Take 5 minutes. Focus. On this problem, come up with a potential solution, right? And in 5 minutes, we join and we listen to everyone. We'll have this round, right? And then that can avoid the negative impact of groupthink on the collective intelligence that will be emerging from the brainstorm, right? Another thing is go for quantity. Hey guys, let's give ourselves 10 minutes, right? And maybe to make it playful, we use a breakout groups, right? So let's break down into 2 groups or 3 groups here, right? It's easy nowadays with the softwares we have, right? And then at times you may want to have a bit of a competition, right? Spirit, right? All in service of boosting energy. Of course, right? And then perhaps also I'd say be clear about what problem we are going, we are really going focusing about here, to avoid that people have different perception of the problem we're working on, right? So that would be really important, in fact. I hope that helps. Thanks very much for the question. And I see another question about, can you recommend us some good books or YouTube channel to follow? Well, I will love to take that question offline. Actually, when I understand good books about what it is, right? But a YouTube channel I recommend with in all humility is my YouTube channel, right? Because you can find free webinars I've offered on a variety of topics, and also perhaps much more interestingly, lots of videos, not from me, from much better people on a variety of topics, right? And so we'll make sure that in the slide deck you will receive tomorrow by email from us, which we use today, right? We have this extra page on this YouTube channel. Thanks so much for the question again, everyone. And I guess, Fabien, we owe it to wrap up now in respect of everyone's time, yeah?
Yes, we are right on time, actually. So maybe a little conclusion very quickly. Thank you, of course, to all of you for your active participation. There are quite a few of us connected, actually, today. Of course, a special thanks to Jean-François. Your great insight and energy never stops to impress us, you know. And we have all no doubt that you are a top ECIA agent yourself. So I hope we are all now set to make our teams ready to do what it takes to conquer. As I said earlier, we will send you the presentation in the coming days, probably tomorrow, with a link, so you can reflect and relook at the powerful questions that Jean-François shared with us, whether it's for energy, collective intelligence, or agility. So I will conclude on this. Stay safe and be all great, and speak to you soon.
Thank you, Fabien. And thank you again, everyone. And I wish you all great success as you reinvent your organization now as a more intelligent, bolder, more agile, and a more resilient enterprise, right? So then this crisis is definitely going to be something great that happened. All the best. Take care. Stay safe.